By Senator Sobel and others, Senate Bill 716, the bill to be entitled, an act relating to the Florida Holocaust Memorial.
Representative Moskowitz, you are recognized to explain the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To Leader Pafford's chagrin, I'm going to say this is the bill we discussed yesterday, but I'll just say that this would allow the state to find an area, plan, and create a Holocaust memorial on Capitol grounds.
Are there amendments on the desk?
None on the desk, Mr. Speaker.
Is there debate? Representative Moskowitz, you are recognized to close on the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would waive because I know that there's bipartisan and dramatic support for this bill, but we've spent some time debating some other issues over the last couple of days, and so if you would just indulge me for a couple of minutes. Florida is home to the second largest Holocaust surviving population. And so what the Holocaust, everyone knows what the Holocaust is, but it was the systematic extermination of Jews in Europe. You're talking about 2/3 of European Jews were wiped off the face of the earth. The victims included 1 million minor children. These were children that may not even known they were Jewish. They had no idea what was happening. They happened to be born into a certain home. They had certain parents. And because of that, 1 million children were killed, pulled out of their home, shot on the side of the street. Babies thrown up in the air and shot. You know, a lot of people talk about the 6 million Jews, but in addition to that, the Nazis killed 5 million other people. And that doesn't include people who died in the war. They exterminated 5 million other souls. You know, the greatest threat to the Jewish population today may be Iran. But truthfully, the second greatest threat is that soon there will be no more witnesses to the Holocaust. Without witnesses to the Holocaust, without people, eyewitnesses to the tragedy, we will have no one to testify what happened. We will depend on museums and memorials and stories and books that were written. That's why this is important. It's the greatest threat because without witnesses, people will try to change history. They will say, it didn't happen, or okay, it happened, but it wasn't as bad. It wasn't 6 million, it was really 1 million. And why will they say that? They will say that because it's about undermining the creation of the state of Israel. They're not successful now because there are people with numbers on their arms, like some sick Dewey Decimal System of death. If you have never met someone with a number tattooed on their arm, I implore you, meet with that person, because soon those people will no longer exist. You know, the slogan for the Holocaust is never again, but it can happen again. There is no question it can happen again. There are people in the world trying to make it happen again, and I just want to share my family experience. So my grandmother was from Germany. She was part of what was called the Kinder Transport, which was very similar to Operation Peter Pan. And the Kinder Transport was where they took children, put them on rail cars, and shipped them out of Germany. England saved her life. She was 13 years old. She never saw her mother again. We actually don't know where her mother was killed, what concentration camp, was she shot on the side of the road? We have no idea. But she never saw her mother again, and England saved her life. Her husband, my grandfather's and my mother's parents, he was from Poland. He ran from Poland. He was able to escape. He went to Serbia, but he was the only one of his family who was able to make it out. His 2 parents, his 2 brothers, and his sister were all killed. he was so, I'm trying to think of the word. For the amount of times I asked him, or that my father asked him, or my mother asked him to tell us the names of his parents, and the names of his two brothers, and the names of his sister, he would never tell us their names. It was such a shock to him to what had happened, what he experienced as a young boy. I can't even go to find out what happened because I don't even have their names. There may be records in the Holocaust Museum of what happened to them, but I don't even know because he refused to speak about it. That's how horrific it was. Imagine being a little boy and running away to another country, never seeing your parents, never seeing your two brothers, and never seeing your sister again. He had no relatives left. His cousins, his aunts, his uncles, his nephew, the entire bloodline of that family was wiped out. He was the sole survivor. My dad's side of the family, they were from Czechoslovakia. They were a little luckier. They were able to come to America before it happened. They were able to get out. His sister stayed. And his sister and her husband and their two kids were killed in Czechoslovakia. We also don't know what happened to them. There's no records. We have their names, but there's no records for them. They didn't go to a concentration camp. We have no idea what happened to them. But, even if one Jew was not killed in the Holocaust, what about the 5 million other people that the Nazis killed? The Nazis killed priests. They killed nuns. They killed Christians because those people were standing up against them. You had thousands of priests in concentration camps. That's why this memorial is necessary. And so, listen, I know that some of you in here don't feel that it's government's role to do this. I know some of you in here feel that you're a steward of public dollars and you don't feel like this is the proper role. And that's one reason to vote against it. But let me give you 11 million reasons to vote for this bill. Push the green button. Thank you.
The question now recurs on final passage of Senate Bill 716. The clerk will unlock the machine and the members will proceed to vote. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? The clerk will lock the machine and announce the vote.
116 yeas, 1 nay, Mr. Speaker.
Show the bill passes.